Good morning. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm wearing my long linen drawstring pants from the Goodwill. I did not wash them. I'm wearing them. I'm glad to have some long breeches because I've been in athletic shorts and my phone is facing me, obviously, but it was, I had it turned to a woman at her car over there, and she looked like she thought I was filming her. I'm not filming her. Let me do this. There's nobody in that direction. You should see that direction, though. There's such good architecture over here. Long breeches. I'm done with the athletic shorts and compression socks. I cannot wear the compression socks another day, so I'm wearing unwashed Goodwill pants. I've got to figure out where I go from here. I want to see Lloyd Wright architecture in Bartlesville, not Bartlett, but Bartlesville is about an hour from here. But I ordered a freaking pizza, not a pizza, I didn't order a pizza. I ordered a pillow, a long, beaded, gorgeous lumbar pillow from a shop here. And that shop doesn't open until 10, and right now it is 7:52. So I have 2 hours. I have 2 hours to plan my route today, and I think I'll end up in Dodge City, Kansas. And it's a good ways from here, but considering I'm this far from home now, I'm gonna scoot over that way. I looked up route and attraction, and there's several places operated by the National Park Service. They're not parks, but they're historical sites, and I want to check those out. I want to paint. I have my painting stuff with me. I want to thrift. So this is a little bit of another installment of what I did last year in Appalachia and gallivanting Appalachia. Arts, parks, and picking. Painting, visiting places of interest, museums and such, and thrift shopping. Arts, parts, and picking. And I haven't decided what to call this. It dawned on me that I could call it a slice of the heartland. There she goes. She thought I was filming. Now I'm filming her. Anyway, because this is the heartland, except I wasn't entirely sure what the heartland was, and Google says that the heartland is all of the states that do not border an ocean. And it included Alabama as the heartland, and I'm going to make a new definition of that. I think that every interior state that doesn't border the Gulf, Mexico, or Canada, the Pacific, or Atlanta, maybe those are the heartland. But I always think of Kansas as the heartland. So anyway, I'm going to do some planning. I'm going to go up and get some waters from the concierge lounge, and I think I'm going to have some of their hot breakfast. That will tide me over for until late in the day. All right, so this is day one of the more leisurely part of my excursion into Oklahoma. The people here are so friendly. It's crazy. Pennsylvania, Virginia, sorry to say, not so much. People here are just like totally friendly. Oh, my lips are incredibly chapped, and they have been. I don't know why. It's like a new thing. So I'm smearing heavily chapstick and stuff. So that might look gross. We'll see. Gosh, I've just talked for 5 minutes. Martha Louise was right. I am loquacious. Hey there. We've left Tulsa and we're on our way to see the Price Tower, an art center in Bartlesville, about an hour north. And it was the only skyscraper, well, you know, like 100 years ago. They're not like tall as New York skyscrapers. Technically a skyscraper, I guess. The only designed by Lloyd Wright that was actually built. And then there are, when you Google the Lloyd Wright homes and buildings, not all of them are tourable. And there is one in Wichita. So today, I should end up in Dodge City, but we're going to stop in Bartlesville, and then we're going to another Lloyd Wright home. I forget the name, but it's in Wichita. And then there's some things to see in Wichita. There's a place called Guardian of the Plains. It's a sculpture, I think. And I may as well do the Dorothy Wizard of Oz thing since I'm here. But we're in the country now. This is, I have to admit, this is more my speed. I'm not so frantic or rattled and what's the consternation? I think that's an applicable word. Anyway, we go into Kansas and we're going to tour. I don't expect there to be a whole lot. I've been through Kansas before, and that was, gosh, I'm 49 and I was about 21, so 28 years ago. And I did see the sunflowers. Kansas plants a lot of Kansas plant. I've got my chapstick on too. Sunflowers. And a long drive from one end to the other. But we're gonna find some things to the painting should be fairly easy. Just grass and sky. I just passed a Cherokee casino, and the word travesty gets thrown around a lot. Now that was a travesty. Look where I am. That is a lot different looking. North Carolina and eastern Tennessee and northern Georgia and maybe South Carolina. I don't know. The Cherokee Nation was big. There is an eastern band of Cherokee still there in the Smokies. But the rest were walked here on the Trail of Tears. I think there is still a huge reservation, and there may be Choctaw too, I don't know. But when Rowdy was born, I drove to the panhandle of Oklahoma, and I went through the Choctaw reservation or Cherokee reservation, or both. Anyway, I'll get better at holding this camera. If you've been to Birmingham and seen the older neighborhoods, you'll have a sense of what the architecture is like in Tulsa. It was 1920s boom town, home of Philip 66, and it's impressive. Birmingham has those old homes from their steel manufacturing. Well, this was oil in the 1920s. Lots of things are called fill this and fill that, like the Philbrook, and I don't know what else, but lots of fills. And it's after Phillips 66. That's what it was. Tulsa was an oil town, heyday in 1920s. And there are lots of vestiges still seen from that era in the architecture and the neighborhoods. I don't know if I don't remember driving through such gorgeous neighborhoods. Old Tudor mansions. It's incredible. Such a nice sound. So that is the community center or visitor center, tourist info. I have no idea. They're going to lunch. So I don't know what this is supposed to be. Surely it's inspired and supposed to mimic or represent something. But this is a really nice square. Very peaceful. Great weather. We'll just have to Google and find out what's up with this big clamshell, Neptune's crown looking thing. But there is the Price Tower. And there is a 66. And I'm curious if Route 66 has anything to do with Phillips 66. I think it may. Parsons Foundation. That name is familiar. If you've watched any PBS, that name, they normally give credit before a program to their donors. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but this is neat. It's really pleasant, and there's not a lot of people, which is fine. I guess I'm on my way. I didn't get to explore as much as I'd want, but that's okay. Check it out. We are entering Osage National Heritage Trail. I think I just saw an eagle. Maybe. I mean, it could have been a hawk. It was a big bird. And I'm on the Osage Trail. And I don't know what that is, but I'm on it. Okay. It is a little hilly. From a distance, these hills don't look like much. Oh, look, there's that. What is that? Is that a derrick? Anyway, it was moving. The oil thing was pumping. So I'm on top of one of the hills right now. They don't look like much from the flatland. But I did read something about the Osage Trail. It is a tall grass prairie, and it's an Oklahoma scenic byway. This reminds me of driving along the Missouri River through Nebraska from South Dakota. That's what this landscape reminds me of. The dirt is really black. Look at that. So we're on the plains. We're in the Great Plains, I think. I'm fairly sure we are. that was supposed to be a still shot, a photo. I was a little bit apprehensive about the landscape being boring, but for some reason it is and it isn't. There's some moo cows. Yeah, it's open. I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. And I can't believe all these little scrubby oak trees are orange. Why? Well, sometimes ours is. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but that looks like a field of pumpkins. Every one of those little oaks is orange. At this rate, I'm not gonna make the Lloyd Wright house in Wichita. It closes at 3. I might have 5 minutes in the gift shop. So I think I'm going to stay in Wichita. I'll do that Dorothy's house, Wizard of Oz thing. I want to look at the Guardian of the Plains Plaza or something like that. And there will be more. And I can hit some thrift stores and find a little motel and catch the Lloyd in the morning. This is really pretty. It's just kind of weird to call it pretty because it's quite plain and barren and empty, but I'm gonna have to look up what those are called. All right, I don't know if I can put into words the feeling of being just, I think out here in the open, it's really kind of nice, and I don't know why. I can't explain it. I've passed about 4 cars. These roads don't even have, well, here comes another very sparse traffic. These roads are numbered. There are no names. You know, I haven't seen anything but black cows. I guess that's Angus, but that one has a white face. There's a red cow. Ooh, there's a bull. There's some red out there. Hello, moo cow. I'm giddy. I'm excited. I'm somewhere different. Speaking of which, Tulsa was different too. You could see the flora is completely different. What do you call those? I hope that wind isn't deafening. Let me try to do this. Your gardening zones or whatever, that's your climate zones, the trees, the plants, everything was just slightly different, and it signals to you that you are someplace different, someplace else, and that's just very exciting. Just past a creek. I wish I had been recording, but I'm gonna be careful not to fill the camera with just a lot of nothing. But the creek was really dark blue, and there were some ripples. There were some little ripples in it, and there was some grass, like sticking out of little sandbars, shallow sandbars, grass. There's a pile of trash or junk, boards. Oh, it's boards. Boards! I mean, it might have been a little outbuilding or a house or a barn or something. Very, very old boards, those were. I'm starting to see little outcroppings of stone. There they are, just on the other side of that fence. Don't know. My guess is sandstone from how it looks and its color. But yeah, there was a lot of stone used in the houses in Tulsa, and you'd have to assume that the stone wasn't far from Tulsa because it was used so extensively in the construction. There's been a lot of ponds and streams, so a lot of watering holes.
Continue for 16 miles.
I would suspect, y'all know I'm not a hunter, but I suspect this is prime hunting land. Check it out.
Welcome to Kansas.
Welcome to Kansas. So, I guess I'm not in a hurry because my thing doesn't, well, it closes, but I'm not going to make it in time. But I kept seeing these, I don't know what this is. Oh, goodness, they are terribly stickery. I can't get any of those. I don't know if I'll leave that little clip that just now, that last clip, I'm probably not going to include it. There's these little thistle-looking dried flowers or something growing, and I stopped and pulled over, but it was full of thorns. I was going to start collecting some wildflowers or just, botanicals or something, and anyway, my head was on that, thinking that I could collect little pieces, put them in a vase, make an arrangement with them, and then paint it as a still life. But anyway, what I did see was these big, gnarly, yellowish fruits. That was a tiny hawk. I don't know if you just saw that tiny hawk. Anyway, it's the Osage orange. I started seeing those on trees. I knew that word, Osage. There's an Osage orange, and that's what was all over those trees back there. I feel like we're rising in altitude. We're on a larger hill now. Yeah, very much reminds me of South Dakota and Nebraska, and I guess that is just what the plains and prairies look like all the way from, what is it, Minnesota to we're in Kansas now. You probably caught that. And probably in northern Missouri. I don't know much about Missouri other than the south, the Ozark region. Anyway, the Great Plains, I'm not real sure of the boundary, but wherever I am now looks like 3 states above me, so they are expansive. The quarry. It's a quarry. Oh, there's a truck down in there. You can get a sense of the scale. Wow. Sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rock in layers. I just made a right turn, but it so happened at that intersection there was a pullover with a historical marker.
Continue on Kansas 15 north for 23 miles.
It was about the gas that would not burn. That was the title on the... Hey, somebody's got a little field of greens down there. Somebody... I don't see any houses. But someone had like a little patch of... looked like collards or something. There's a house. And there's another house. So, now we see them. So the gas contained helium. And I smelled gas about 2 miles ago. And there was, it blew out the flame. So whenever that was, I don't think it said 1903. It could have said 1903. I don't know why I'm thinking that. But they would, open the well and light it on fire. I don't know why. But this particular gas, the wind, they called it wind gas because it blew out the flame. And I wanted to, it was kind of in my head, and I wanted to mention, like, this might not be everybody's cup of tea. I told you I was here about 28 years ago. We just drove straight through. And since I was out this way, I thought that it might be a good opportunity to just experience Kansas. And without being disrespectful to any Kansans, I kind of wanted to get over with, you know. I wanted to check that box. But to do that, I want to do it thoroughly. And we're going to do it thoroughly. Unless, you know, it gets too grating. And I was thinking about home. How, I mean, you literally see for miles and miles and miles. At home, you do not. I mean, there are some big pastures, but nothing like this. Just rolling along, open and scrubby forest. I have a truck behind me. I better speed up. I just wanted to experience Kansas, get the full the full tour. So we're gonna hit the west side, and we're going to go north, and we're going to end in Kansas City, which is actually Missouri, right across the Missouri line. So that's what we're doing. And if I didn't say so already, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and the landscape is going to be pretty redundant, but that's what makes the gems and the geologic sites, because there will be a few, hopefully, because some of the badlands stretch down into Kansas. So, that's what we're doing. I don't really... I did look up some things, but it's been a couple weeks, and I've just not taken the time to map out an itinerary, and that's fine.